Just Say No, Boris. PM urged to refuse Nicola Sturgeon's IndyRef2 referendum demands. Boris Johnson should stand firm in the face of Nicola Sturgeon's demand for a second referendum on the subject of Scottish independence, a poll of Express.co.uk readers has indicated. Following Thursday's Holyrood elections, in which her SNP party won 64 seats, one short of an overall majority, Mrs. Sturgeon has been stepping up her calls for another nationwide vote on the question, just 7 years after the last one. The First Minister has even suggested she would be prepared to go to court in a bid to force Mr. Johnson to agree to issue the necessary order under Section 30 of the Scotland Act 1998, as did predecessor David Cameron in 2014. But readers were strongly of the belief that Mr. Johnson should not give in to Mrs. Sturgeon's request. Our online poll, taking place in the wake of Thursday's Holyrood elections, asked, what should Boris Johnson do about a Scottish independence referendum? Out of a total of 11,853 votes, 6,496 to 55%, said Mr. Johnson should reject the idea out of hand. By contrast, just 3,877 to 33% believed Mr. Johnson should throw down the gauntlet and let the SNP call a referendum immediately. A further 1,280 to 11% felt Mr. Johnson should allow Mrs. Sturgeon to call her referendum at a time of her choosing. Plenty of readers were unequivocal in their belief that Mr. Johnson should refuse at all costs. One referenced the events of 7 years ago, saying, the SNP do not have a mandate for another lunatic independence referendum to break up our country and sell us out to the EU. Over half of Scotland voted for other parties. The Scottish people had their once-in-a-lifetime referendum in 2014 and 2 million voted to remain in the UK. Only 1.6 million voted in 2016 to remain in the EU. Meanwhile, Andrew Cullen suggested Mrs. Sturgeon was moving the goalposts, saying, not so long ago she said no ref till polls over 60%. Boris, we can't let this carry on, just say no. Similarly, another reader observed, just say no, Boris. Others urged the UK government to shine a light on the SNP's plans to break away and what it would mean for life north of the border. Stuart Smith said, Boris Johnson needs to answer Sturgeon's demands for a referendum by listing a number of actions that must take place before a referendum is to take place. A full independent audit must take place of Scotland's finances. An agreement must be signed in the event of independence that Scotland will pay off their share of the national debt, criteria for future referendums should be agreed upon, etc., etc. The point that I am making is that the ball should be put in the nationalist court for their action before anything else gets done. Time is on the side of the Union. The EU is doomed to extinction in this decade. Similarly, another said, think Sturgeon should publicise her independence plan and all costings to the Scots to be independent, so that we can all have a laugh. Some readers suggested it was important that Scots went into a vote on the subject of independence with a clear understanding of the implications. One commented, let them have their referendum on the understanding that if they choose to leave, they leave with no subsidies or other financial help from England. Another added, let Scotland have their independence vote. Heck, let us English have a vote on if we want them or not. Let the EU fund their £15 billion deficit and their free education and free NHS. More money for the rest of us. But if they think they can get away with no borders and no visas for Scottish workers in England, think again. Others suggested a referendum would be the only way to resolve the question. One said, I think they are better as part of the UK, they have an assembly which can alter the rules made in the UK Parliament, such as having NHS prescriptions free, when the English have to pay. England has no such assembly. But if the Scots really want to go, then let them go and have done with it. If the SNP want to play the referendum hokey-cokey, we cannot plan for any shared future. We need some stability and those committed to the UK need to work together. Similarly, another reader observed, it is clear that there is a strong if not overwhelming drive for the vote which won't go away. A cold shower moment, which will be best served by dealing with it. As for the result, one express.co.uk reader suggested it might not be to Mrs. Sturgeon's liking, saying, I would be surprised if the Scots vote for independence. Nicola Sturgeon has a strident voice, but she does not represent as many people as she thinks she does. However, another suggested independence was inevitable, arguing, the SNP are here to stay folks.